Rise, please. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you, Lord, for this meeting. Lord, we pray for wisdom, understanding. And Lord, be with us as we go through the remainder of this day. Thank you very much, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Jody Fishingham. Here. Chuck Huskin Jr.
Here.
Bill Engling.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Bonnie.
Julia Coates. Here. Meredith Fraley. Janelle Fulbright. Don Garvin. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Tyler Torrey Jordan.
Present.
Lee Keener. Dick Lay.
Here.
Curtis Snow.
Here.
David Thornton. David Walkie-Stick. Tara Callan Watts.
Ani.
We do have a quorum.
Madam Chair, motion to approve all three sets in total.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? On the reports, Lacey Bourne.
Good afternoon. I want to fill you in on my trip last week. I went to Washington, D.C. and met with several senators and representatives in the Office of Management and Budget. The purpose of this meeting was to meet on the effects of the sequestration, which is a term that many of you have probably heard, but would be the effect of the Budget Control Act of 2011. And just to make a long story short, the Budget Control Act of 2011 charged the super committee with finding ways to increase revenue and decrease spending in an effort to decrease our federal deficit level. And as an incentive for the super committee to come to a decision and create a solution for this, the Budget Control Act contained a provision for automatic sequestration to go into effect in January 2013, and that sequestration would be at the total discretion of the Office of Management and Budget, or the OMB. Well, on September the 14th, the OMB released their report on how the sequestration would be applied. And although there was much speculation over what the cut would be, there was, rumors of 7, 9, 15, 20. The number is now 8.2, give or take certain percentages here and there. And so that would mean 8.2% charged across the board for, Department of Education, Department of the Interior, IHS, which we had originally thought that would be capped at 2%, is in fact 8.2. So I went up there and talked to several individuals and in the OMB about what that impact would be to the Cherokee Nation, and gave them a real human view of what that would be. And so what I would ask all of you, because you would all have relationships with various senators and congressmen, is to talk to them about our budget and the goal and that we would like to see is that we would like to see Indian tribes be held harmless in this funding cut. We all know what the Cherokee Nation and other tribes have gone through, and the trust responsibility that the federal government has to us to fund our programs. And so Tom Cole is leading a great charge on behalf of the tribes, and has made great strides on his Interior Appropriations Committee. And so that's kind of the jargon when you're talking with senators and representatives, that ask them to join with Tom Cole in supporting him because he's looking out for the tribes. And so that's about all I have to report. If anybody has any questions on that or my financial report, I'll be happy to try and answer them.
Were you able to meet with the other senators from Oklahoma?
Lankford, Cole and Lankford were the two that I saw. We went by Boren's office, but he was not in.
No Coburn, no Lincoln?
No.
That's one what?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
So do you have, I assume, some talking points on that impact that you could share with each of us so that when we do visit with folks, we can have consistent numbers and such to share?
Yes.
If you'd email those to, I know at least, I assume the whole council would like that. And so-
Yes, I did prepare a report. I almost had it ready for distribution today, but the staff member that helped me work on it, I had a couple more questions for her, and so I had to backtrack a little bit. So yeah, I do have that, and I will share that with everybody.
Okay, and then I have a request on actual spent. I've had a number of tribal citizens that have asked, and this is on a separate subject.
Okay.
That they've asked on what we have actually expended for the chief and whoever the people were that went with him on the trip to Martha's Vineyard, and then the trip that week following the weekend to Washington D.C. and there was a visit. You know, what donations were made, how much was travel, and then the Democratic National Convention travel, how much that cost.
Okay.
If you could pull those, and we're in transition on staff, so that would help if it came from maybe your office, so we knew what it was and stuff. And if there were any donations made around that as well.
Okay. Just format in an email to me. I will
Okay.
get one of them. How's that?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, since we're up against an employee, thank you, Lacey.
Oh, thank
Since
you.
we're up against an employee appreciation event, I wondered if the remaining reports could just be subject to questions.
Okay. Next is Cherokee Nation Business. Sean is up in Catoosa preparing for opening tomorrow. He submitted a report. If you have any questions, you can email him. The next two is Diane and Anna. Anybody have any questions for us?
I have a question for Diane.
I was preparing my notes, but I know you all are on a short time frame, so I decided not to do anything.
I just have a question about vocational training, the vocational stuff. It's my understanding all the money that you're going to receive on October 1 is already obligated. So no one else that walks in will get funding.
What we're doing is we're taking applications, we're taking the first 2 pages of it, and we've got them on a waiting list, and I think there's probably around 50, 51. Some of them are for a whole year, some are for 6 months, some are for specialized training. And what we're doing is we met with Lacey earlier in the week and kind of gave her a heads up on where we were at. And so we're working on some strategy with some of our money for classroom training that we've got over there on the CMB, because if it's specialized training like welding or some of the construction trades, we're going to shift some of those over there. So that may help a little bit, but I don't know how much. We started working on it yesterday. So I'm not really sure, but it's still going to be pretty tight.
How big was the reduction or the funding that you received from last year?
Geez, I don't have that right in front of me.
Well, if I give you some numbers, can you confirm it?
If you what?
I said, if I give you some numbers, can you confirm it? It's my understanding you received $250,000 for voc assistance last year, and it was cut to $109.
Pretty much close to it. There's Lacey.
I'm right here, and I'm trying to
remember, because we talked about this yesterday.
We did, and if you'll let me get back to you, I can.
And I think voc prep, the voc prep part of that, which was for specific.
Yeah, that's all obligated too. 'cause
Yeah,
we checked
it's all
on that
obligated,
yesterday.
but that was reduced from 250 to 180.
We talked about this year, the budget with the chief and different people, and I remember it was going to be reduced. I remember talking about it.
Okay. I can get you, I mean, I'm like, I don't have the budget lady here, and I don't know, I don't keep up with the budgets. I've got Deborah who does that, but I can get back with you on it. But it was cut, but I don't know exactly the amount.
Which program is it? Are we talking about FY13?
Yeah.
Yeah, for October 1. But,
Is it the
well,
vocational
Diane,
work preparation?
would you just get some numbers of what the cuts were and what you think you're going to need for the upcoming year?
Yes, I can do that.
Because we need to have funding for that available.
Okay, I'll report back on that. Education committee, is that okay?
Fine.
The only program in VOTEC rolling out the travel fund is under employment training that's showing any significant cuts is the day training program, which partial funding comes in for carry. There is a 20% decrease in vocational work preparation from 250 to 205. But then there's a new 205 for vocational assistance. Talk about that.
Vocational has probably about 3 or 4 different budgets. I'm not really sure when you wrap that up because I knew that there was one yesterday.
Gotta do it.
Everybody on that one. He shifted all health positions out of that and put them all in that health credit.
Just a comment, if I might get clarification. When we say that we've already obligated FY13 funds before we actually get into FY13,
What you have to, what it is with VOTEC is that you actually have to let the VOTEC know that you're going to take that slot in the fall. And we have to send them a letter telling them that Doug Evans or Diane Kelly is going to be in that nursing program because they do the nursing programs, a lot of the health programs in the spring, and they have to get those seats filled up. They have to know that they're going to have one body. So we have to send them a letter saying that, yes, these 2 people will be in that program, knowing that they're not going to get paid.
You've
Yeah.
identified the
Yes.
participant that's going to utilize the fund.
And then when the funding comes in, then we pay it.
Yes. Okay.
Councilman Lofton?
You may not have the answer right at hand. You can certainly get this back to me, but this goes along the lines with the vocational education funding. I want to know, out in the field offices, what the procedure is for a person coming to one of your people in the field saying they want some assistance going to VOTEC. I want to know, walk me through how it ends up getting to Tahlequah and approved, and most critically, how long that takes. Because I wonder if there are situations where some of our folks out in the field receive an application or know the interested applicant, but it takes some period of time before that information is communicated to Tahlequah, and possibly by that time the money's gone. And so but if they came here, they might get approved on the spot. I don't know enough about how it works to know that, but I have heard some concern. So, and you, if you don't have all the answers at hand, that's fine. But maybe you could walk me through the procedure and the timeline next time.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank you, ma'am.
I will say that we do have more staff here in the main office because that's where everything gets processed. And out in the field, they don't have the luxury of having that much manpower. So in some cases, like up in your area of Bonita, we only have the one counselor. And if that counselor is good about doing their paperwork and getting it down here in a timely fashion, then they're going to get theirs processed quicker than probably even someone here in the Tahlequah office. So it's going to vary from one counselor to the next because they all operate at a different speed. And if the client gets all their documents in a timely fashion. And sometimes we have to get acceptance letters from the schools. People come in and say they want to go to school. Well, some of those programs you have to have acceptance letters because, like in the health field, that one in particular, you have to go and be interviewed and you have to take tests and you have to be selected for those. And so we have to know that you're actually got a seat in that program before you can even get in the program, get any services from us. And if they're getting Pell, then they may not get all the services through us. They may only get a mileage stipend. So it's going to vary from one client to the next.
And of course, ultimately, where this is leading is I just want to make sure that folks that live in the outlying areas have reasonably as good a shot at getting this funding as folks that live here.
Yeah, and I will tell you there are a couple of counselors in those outlining offices. They're very good about getting those applications in. I won't say who they are, but they get those applications in here.
Speaker Jordan?
Diane, would you just, before education, when you're going to give your next report, will you just send us by email what we're short, what we need to do to bump up your program? Because if you're starting the year out and you've already obligated all your money through the pre-selection slot process that you just described, then obviously you're going to need more money. And career tech to me is just right up there with getting a college education. If we teach you a skill, you can take care of your family. So we can't let your area go unfunded. And that's what I think I'm hearing, is that it's unfunded after, on October 2nd, it's unfunded. You don't have any more money. And you can't go a whole year that way. Not in the area that you're in, because I don't know about everybody else on this group, but I'm continually sending people to her almost on a daily basis, because her area, in 14 weeks, 15 weeks, something like that, you can get a person working, supporting their family. So they go take a training program. That training program is in a needed area, and 15 weeks later, they're out working, supporting their family. That's a very important area that we can't let go unfunded for a year. So we need to know what your needs are, and I apologize, I missed that in the budget process. I didn't realize that you had been reduced. We just can't let that happen. I mean, that's the key to families being, adults being able to support their families.
I appreciate the comments and the support from council ladies and councilmen. I think for years we've rocked along there with asking you all for a certain amount of money, but with the economy the way it is right now, and in some of our counties, they're the highest in terms of unemployment in about 2 or 3 of these counties. We've had just an over-influx of people coming in for training that we've not had before. And we've also expanded some of our service area so that we've got people going out into these field office locations. Although Telequal, they still continue to come to Telequal because they think they're going to get services quicker. And, they don't get it any quicker, but at least they can get it processed a lot quicker.
Well, I remember a specific case where an older lady came to me, had 3 children, and had lost her husband, and wanted to go to this medical encoding school. And in about 15 weeks, after she went through your program, and I think you helped her get to VOTEC, she was able to support those 3 kids. I mean, that's all it took to turn that woman's life around. She had never worked outside the home. And we sent her to school for, I think it was 15 weeks. And now she's doing great, supporting her family. She's not asking this tribe for another nickel's worth of help. She's not asking the federal government or the state government for another nickel's worth of help. She needed that one little step. Had we not had the money in your account to do that, I don't know what would have happened to that lady. She may have just given up. You're a critical area. We've got to fund you.
Well, C&B, with the amount of money that they came in with, they have been very helpful and instrumental in getting those trades. They identified 3 different trades that we're getting ready to open up. One's drywalling, and I think the other one is, I don't know if it's masonry or something. There's like 3 trades they identified about a week ago. We met with the C&B board also this week. So we're getting ready to open up some more training with the VOTEC, short-term training, but we'll have a bunch of people in the pipeline that we can send out there in some of those construction jobs. Right now, all of the construction trades that Shane and Andy and them opened up, they filled up within 2 to 3 days. And we're hoping that whenever day work starts back up next week, that some of those people that were in those day work lines went into some of those training lines so that we won't have as many. But those are some of the ones that we're going to start trying to shift over there in those training programs so they won't be in the waiting list for day work.
Well, please give us that information just as soon as it's available.
Okay. And I just want you to know that Lady Pittsburgh is with me on that. She came down and talked to me about it this week. So
Well, I think between 2 of you, you'll find some money in a way that we can get it to the right place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to amend the agenda, please, to discuss the Cherokee Phoenix.
Second. Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion?
I'd ask for a vote on it.
No discussion? All those in favor of amending the agenda for the discussion on the Cherokee Phoenix, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Aye. Roll call.
Frankie Hargis,
Yes.
Chuck Huskin Jr.,
No.
Hannah Gloria Jordan,
No.
Lee Keener,
Yes.
Dick Lay,
No.
Curtis Snell,
No.
David Baker,
Yes.
David Walkingstick,
No.
Eric Allen Watts,
Yes.
Bill Anklin,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Joe Bird,
No.
Julia Coates,
Yes.
Jody Fishinghawk,
No.
Meredith Fraley,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright, no. Don Garvin.
Yes.
Nine yes, 8 no.
Okay, on to the next. First up, Terrell. Any questions on Terrell? Do I hear a move for its approval?
While they're deciding stuff, Madam Chair, what is this golf tournament about and where do the funds go? What's the point of it?
The funds are going to, half the fund, part of the proceeds will go to breast cancer awareness, and the other part will go to Relay for Life.
Okay, so it is a fundraiser for outside nonprofits.
Correct, outside. We will not profit anything from this. Linda will buy the door prizes, cover the cost of the golf tournament. We partner with C&E, and we will split. We're looking probably $5,000 for each charity, and we may split the breast cancer awareness into the women's of Tulsa or women. There's 2 breast cancer groups in Tulsa. One will be the Susan G. Komen, the other one will be the women's.
It's the one that provides direct services to
Correct.
women in need that knows any other things.
Correct.
And there's no overhead on it.
Correct. So, and the Relay for Life.
That's clear on that flyer.
It's not, we didn't put this out in public a lot because we didn't want to get too many teams involved to overfill the tournament this late in the year. We already have 30 teams and we're about to cut off because if we get any more teams, we won't be able to have it one day.
Okay, and I would just ask that that you clarify that the Tarot or Tribe or anybody's not donating other than those 2.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
We'll finish with my withdrawal. Thank you for the tarot certification.
I'll second.
Second by Jack. All those in favor? All those opposed? Cemetery. Is there any on here, Doug?
Haven't updated, are there any in your packet?
No.
She had not updated list. So let me double check.
How are we gonna do
That's
that?
what I'm trying to get on.
One kid. One item, one item.
Yeah. She's bringing these.
Okay.
Madam Chair, can we yield a little bit of time to our Attorney General for what I talked to you about on that blog?
Inform the council, as you know, since we were kind of touching on the tarot certifications, that we are in the process of seeing how the implementation of the new tarot law is going to direct and how we're going to administer that. I've been asked to make sure that it is copacetic with federal law and federal regulations. We are in that process, so I wanted to let you know that. And as this process develops about the implementation, if you have any questions, please contact me.
Good.
Madam Chair, at this time, make a motion to amend the agenda to move community assistance to the very end and to add the budget law, which is in front of councilors, to the agenda.
Second.
Motion second, everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, let's pick community assistance, all for law enforcement.
Can I ask one more? Yeah. You gotta clean your community assistance out today. Everybody realize that she's working on it right now, so if you got a dollar left, tell Gail where you want it to go. She's working on the list, but if you think you have a dollar, you need to see the list. Okay?
You got any left? You don't
We go back to the cemetery. She did have 2 cemeteries.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. New Home Cemetery in Cherokee County up by Peggs. And Killer Cemetery in Stillwell. Those are the only 2 cemeteries.
Yeah, that's fine.
Killing Mountain. Pigs. Pigs.
Yes.
Madam Chair, move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Councilman Watts?
Madam Chair, just as a quick, are there any other funds that we need to consider that are tribal council initiatives that potentially need to be carried over for the next fiscal year?
Okay, your law enforcement will automatically carry over.
Yeah.
The community assistance that was just mentioned that she's working on will not carry over, so that's why we're trying to get all those obligated right now. The roads will all carry over, and the bridge will carry over automatically. Those enabling legislations don't lapse at year end.
Cemetery.
Cemeteries carries over as well.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that time, Madam Chair.
I was going to ask about our council mailer budget, whether it carries over.
No, it does
No,
not.
no, it's general fund. Okay, law enforcement. Do we have any? All of the roads?
Okay, roads we do have. We had a refund of $6,110 on the Colcord Gym Road project, and a utilization of the Mr. Lay's motor fuel tax allocation for this year for the West Main Street project. They did deplete your current year allocation, Mr. Lay, and the motor vehicle tax fund has 2 projects Mr. Hoskins is sponsoring for the Childers Road project and the County Road 150 Centralia project, $25,000 and $30,000 each. Mr. Hoskins, that will leave you $50,000 in your major minor collector fund. Lastly, the bridge special access fund. We have 1 project that's complementing the West Main Street project for Mr. Lay out of the bridge access for 8214, and that will deplete, Mr. Lay, your bridge access for these fund balance for this year. All these road projects will have another allocation of funding going into these balances. They'll be going in with your next report next week. I'll send out a report of each one with your new allocations for FY13 added to whatever balances you've not obligated on these funds up to this point, so you'll know exactly what you have going into FY13 for your earmarking and obligating on your project.
Since we're waiting on Joe, you want to talk about the budget?
Sure.
Make a motion to approve the budget.
Motion seconded. Any discussion? Oh, motion to lay on roads, second.
I'll make the motion on roads.
All those in favor on roads? Aye. All those opposed?
Now, Madam Chair, I make the motion to approve the budget.
Second.
Any discussion?
Okay. Since this is Mod 1 to the FY13 budget that begins next week, there won't be any grant recordings to be considered in this mod, and nor will there be any consent items going forward since we actually can't grant consent before the year begins on those funding sources. There's 2 budgets basically here. What it is the water planning initiative of $295,000 related to engaging an engineering firm for a study, and staff's here to address that in further detail. The Secretary of State also has a $150,000 request. This is a continuation of the landfill feasibility study that was instructed by the council back in June, I believe, or May, earlier on in this year. The contract's ready to be let. However, next week there will be no expending authority on it because of the lapse. What this does is it keeps by including it in Mod 1, it can be obligated, expending authority can occur upon your October council meeting versus your November. So instead of being in a 6-week dead time for obligating this contract, it'll be a 2-week. So they can go ahead and engage the firm, complete the process, and get the project underway. without running into that extra month of lag time. The funding source for the 295 water planning and the 150 is the remaining balance of the FY11 unobligated or unexpended carryover balance that was flowing throughout the entire 2012 year. And now they're actually bringing forth the remaining balance of that because it's money in bank. We know it exists. It's not anticipated carryover. It's real carryover. So with that, I'll turn it over to admin for back to the council for any questions they may want to have.
Councilman Law?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a question. I think it would be Sarah Hill from the AG's office. When do we expect to kind of have a report back to the council and the Cherokee people on that aspect of the water plan? Because people have asked, so I want to know, how do we expect it to develop publicly at least?
As far as the public part of it, the money that we're asking for now to complete what we're calling phase 2.1 and 2.2, is really basic hydrologic information that we need in terms of the litigation purposes. So that information is not going to be information that's made public. I can certainly talk to any council member who wants to know exactly where we are at any time. I'd be happy to tell you what we're doing. We put a lot of work into this, and we're very proud of what we're doing and what we've got put together. In terms of public information, that would be more phase 2.3 and 2.4 after we sort of have a better idea of what kind of water we have available, and we've gotten a water rights situation concluded in whatever way it concludes. Then we'll start the process of planning for water from a public policy perspective, drought planning, economic development planning, those types of issues.
Thank you. And I think the three of us will be visiting with you about learning more about the hydrology study in a separate meeting. So
I will probably tell you more than you ever wanted to know about it.
well, I'm excited about that. So thank you, Sarah. We appreciate all the work that you guys are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Any other questions? No more questions? Okay. Let's take a vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
And let's see how far Gail is along.
I hate to ask, but we need just a couple minutes recess to get the final paperwork on the community assistance. Because
Is that
she's
10
working,
minute or 5 minute?
let's say 5 minutes, she's working feverishly on it, but everybody hands her something just like at the last minute.
Thank you.
She's working under a lot of pressure.
Madam Chair, did you call a 5 minute?
She did.
Madam Chair, did you call a 5 minute recess? Okay. I will see you.
I'm a fisher broke.
FBI, flat broke Indian.
That's one of those. No, you should have joined us for Tony Bennett. I was there for that. It was calmer. We didn't have a bunch of hardcore people.
The 13th.
Chinese food? Chinese food?
Yes,
No cheese.
no cheese.
This is two community meetings. It's already been notified.
Can we have just a second to look at it?
There you go.
Are you maxed out?
That's like this much air.
Joe's well, I didn't give my community anything.
They were funny.
So I even added to yours.
They were a funny couple of girls.
Man, I was thinking about you.
No, it means I can relate me.
I think I added to some of yours.
You changed everything up to you see them all.
Good idea.
Don't see your blind spot.
Meredith. Meredith, I want to thank you for giving some of yours.
Oh,
Yeah, well, no, thank you. I sure, I hope, did Gail tell you about the $1,000 you gave to our community? Thank you.
Yeah,
Please.
sure.
You're a sweet woman.
Anytime.
Sweet one.
Who are you talking about?
What kind of BS is that?
Open up the big can.
I call for the question on that.
David Thornton said his is ready to go. He was right, so it's now.
He got all his stuff. He didn't know what else to do.
Did you see how much you drew for?
Would you answer to them to the CD Atkinson church? If the council members wouldn't oppose our directors, you are free to go because I think we have employees that are waiting. If you guys want to, look at your choice. Is that okay?
He told me to go ahead and give us checks.
Down for $100.
I've said it for so year. I wanted to see the letter they sent out.
We used to. We used to pick them up and go.
Yeah, send them over here and y'all.
Let's do that.
I think it does. It was a council initiative.
Well, I had a little bit, but it's included.
I'm already zero though.
I think I'm gonna play with Bill Jones' mine and let him hand out mine.
Shake him up.
Yeah. Okay, ready to reconvene? And reconvene at 4:26. Has everybody checked their balances for community assistance? Is everything right?
Madam Chair, I move for the approval.
Second.
Motion seconded. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. Any other announcements? Go right ahead, Kurt.
I had a nephew that was killed in a gunshot accident Monday. His funeral will be this coming Monday at 1 o'clock at Keys. His name is James Woolard. He's Stacy Woolard's husband. She works in natural resources. And the funeral will be this coming Monday at Keys at the First Baptist Church.
Any announcements? Next meeting will be October 25th at 3 o'clock.
Madam Chair, first, I'm really sad to hear that. I thought I'd heard, but I didn't want to believe it when I heard it. And I'm really sorry for that loss because he was really an outstanding individual, what I knew about him. And I know Stacy's a strong person, and she's had to bear too much loss in her life already. I think everyone's probably read about John Townsend, a Cherokee soldier from Claremore, and his body arrived home today. The service is tomorrow, so please keep his family in your prayers. On a different note, and I apologize it's during this time, but on the general assistance stuff, can those checks do they come to Gail and come with a cover letter from
Our
us?
speaker just now has made the request that she would like this as a council initiative.
I'm going to see if we can't change the rule so that they'll come here, and if you want to go to your communities and give them out, that's fine. If you want a letter mailed with them that's signed by you all, I'm going to make every effort to see that that happens.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I hear a motion for
I got another announcement. I'm having a community meeting at Wycliffe School on Saturday the 13th, about 3 o'clock till 7, 8, or 9. So everybody's welcome. Bring your Buckeyes.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
October the 16th at 6 p.m. We're going to have a fish fry at the Southport Community Building. We're going to have live music and door prizes, so you guys come out.
Karaoke.
And Joe's going to be doing karaoke. Just joking.
Okay, motion, Bill?
Thank you, Mayor. And I just want everybody to know that to watch the Baltimore Orioles, this Dylan Bundy, he's from Sperry, and they say he's from Austin. He grew up in Sperry, he played baseball in Sperry, but he just got pulled up into the majors, into the playoffs. So he's a Cherokee citizen, and so keep an eye on him where he goes. He signed for $12 million. He's 19 years old, and he's already played in the major league. So he's a Cherokee citizen, so you got to follow him.
Where's Sperry?
So follow him.
No, what's his name, Gil?
Dylan Bundy.
Dylan Bundy. Okay.
He was minor league player of the year this year in the Oriole organization.
Yeah.
He just got pulled up last week.
He's got another brother.
Yeah, he's got another one, Bobby. Bobby Bundy's in the Oriole organization.
How old did you say he was?
19.
19. It's better. I said 90.
You can already have feature reports.
If you all have time, they're having the employee appreciation meal at 5 o'clock up at the place where we play. It would be great if we could go up and visit, and I would appreciate it if some of you, I'm going to try to make it up there, and I hope everybody else can too. Thank you. And our employees need to go eat.